Good Thursday afternoon and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sports Visions radio show. I am Walter and Betty Jones' baby boy, DJ Jones, and of course, next to me is my good friend and Doris Williams' baby boy, Dale Williams. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Oh, man, everything is everything. What is going on, Coach Bush's grandson?
Speaking of which, I saw him yesterday in our elementary league. My nephew, he's out there playing, and it's just hearing all the stories. And I asked him about all the times he coached you. I mean, he has a plethora of stories. So it's good to be back, fellas, and let's rock and let's roll.
Absolutely. Great day, loaded guests. We are broadcasting on WRCG 92.1. We are also on CTV Beam over in East Alabama and Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. Please be sure to tell a friend that the Sports Visions radio show is on the air right now. And again, go ahead and share that program out there, because I know you got some other friends out there that obviously are just as much into sports as you are, but we try to make it fun. We try to make it casual. We are definitely having a good time. Dale, back in the day when we first started this doggone show, we talked about this show being a little bit like gumbo. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but a lot of sports.
A lot of sports, man. We got plenty of sports, man. Man, we got a lot of stuff going on in the studio, DJ. And once upon a time, we used to worry about we don't have nothing to show.
Congratulations, of course, the backdrop that you see back there. I know that's the first thing that you noticed, that we had this beautiful backdrop. But thank you to our general manager, of course, Joseph Brandon. He's a heck of a guy. It was his brainstorm to put that back there. But again, as we grow, Dale, as we climb the ladder, as we get a little bit bigger, we get these niceties.
That's right, man. We get blessed with favor. Really, we have flavor and favor here at PNB Broadcast.
Well, let me give you a rundown of the show today, because it is absolutely fantastic. And again, I'm just not saying that because it's our show. I'm saying that because we have so much information that we bring in. We don't know it all. We don't profess to know it all, but we bring in folks that can help share and give their ideas and their information to you to help make us better. We've never been one to think that we were the smartest in the room, Dale. I think that's why we ended up here 16 years later.
That's right, DJ. And really, you just kind of always try to be around people that, iron sharpens iron, and be around people that are gonna add to you and not subtract from you.
All right, at 4:10, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to go over to the WRBL studios. And again, Rex Castillo, who is the sports director, he is going to come on and let us know what's going on. Alabama High School, they're in the playoffs right now. And again, he'll give us the rundown, the schedules as far as Friday night's high school football schedules on the Alabama side. And then over on this side, we're winding down the regular high school football season. Big region championship game going on, big title game going to go on Saturday morning, actually Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock up at Connect Stadium, man. You got Troop coming in town, and they're going to take on the Carver Tigers. Both of them are undefeated up to this point. Initially, it was the Carver's homecoming game several weeks ago. However, Troop had a breakout with the pandemic and, of course, at least with the COVID, and had to postpone and reschedule. So these two, just fortunate enough for Carver and Troop, man, came down to the wire. Troop beat up on Jordan the other day, on Tuesday, actually.
That's right.
49-0. You had opportunity to check that out, right?
I had an opportunity to check it out, DJ, and really Troop is it's going to be very interesting in the game. I think it's a true region championship game. Carver against Troop tomorrow. That's going to be a nice game.
Absolutely.
Saturday, rather.
Okay. All right. Saturday at 1 o'clock. But Rex is going to be on to give us paint the picture for us coming up for the schedule for the weekend in high school football. Then we got a treat for you at 4:30. Guy McIntyre, former University of Georgia great, as well as San Francisco 49ers. Now I thought is that guy calling me? I think that's so. Well, we'll get that. We'll get that. Remind me to return that call, because
that's got
he's on West Coast time.
That's right. He's giving the right snap count. DJ.
But Guy is University of Georgia great. He was a great lineman there, and out of Thomasville, Georgia, and of course went on and took his talents out to the San Francisco 49ers. They drafted him, and of course Dale, from there he ended up playing a few years in Green Bay, but had an extraordinary professional football career. He was one of the big time blockers for Joe Montana and Roger Craig, and of course Jerry Rice was on that team. He won all those Super Bowls. But Guy is one of the few guys that Dale that had the opportunity to play as long as he did in the National Football League, and then right after his career was over, he was able to take a job in the front office. So he spent nearly 18 years after his playing career in the front office. And, of course, most recently, he has been working, I think, for the last 8 years as the director of alumni relations. And when you say, what does that mean? Well, when you play for a great organization like the San Francisco 49ers, you know, all those Super Bowl teams, they're always having events. They're always having the great players come back. And I named a few, from Jerry Rice to Joe Montana to, I mean, you name it. But Guy is the guy that I guess that they have so much success that he was able to, of course, establish a job. And again, it grew into one where he has 4 other greats under him that helps him coordinate these events, coordinate all of the doggone, the Hall of Fame games and all the great special. Just looking forward to talking to Guy, not only about his great days at Georgia, but it's also, the great opportunities that he's had with the 49ers deal.
He's had great opportunities, DJ, and really one thing about Guy, you can always date back to even in college, DJ, he always made the best out of every situation he's ever been in, and that's one of the biggest things about it. I was so glad today that they moved him from tight end, DJ.
Tight end, I tell you, he was a load.
Oh, my God.
He was a load. But,
and get McIntyre here, will you?
But also, we got something special for you coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. We got the executive director from the Safe House Ministries. His name is Neil Richardson. And you ask, why do we have Neil Richardson on? Well, again, the great things that we have the opportunity to do in addition to this radio show, our television show, our magazine, we do a host of events, Dale. Again, and we got our high school football awards luncheon coming up, and we'll tell you about that a little later. But we also do some other great things in the community on behalf of our clients. Isaiah Crowell, who is, of course, a hometown hero, NFL running back, he has allowed us to coordinate several of his events over the past few years. And, of course, coming up next week, he's going to be feeding over 200 people at the Safe House Ministries cafeteria up on Hamilton Road. And again, what a great way for him to give back, serve the Safe House. And again, I know Neil will have an opportunity to come on and tell you what it's all about. But this is a major, it started about a decade ago, Dale, as a major transition of folks getting out of jail. And again, a lot of addicts and homeless folks. And, it started as a little old house right across the street from the jail downtown. Now they have a nice facility on Hamilton Road, and man, they feed hundreds every day, breakfast and lunch. Also, they have all kind of programs and work programs and whatnot. But Isaiah and I had the opportunity to hook up with these folks, man. Last year did the giveaway when we Sports Vision sponsored, or at least featured coordinating that giveaway. And again, when I talk about Isaiah, man, you just can't help but think about the great job that his mom and dad, Debbie, as well as Mr. Crowell, have done in raising him. And again, against all the odds, man, this guy still, he could do anything in the world. He could take his money but he comes home and he makes sure that he does something big in the city several times a year.
I mean, really, he's consistent, DJ, over the years. He's done some great things in the community, from being at his church to anybody's church. Always grassroots in the community, does a great job with that, DJ. And a lot of people don't realize that this is a part of our platform to organize and promote special events for his public service announcements, things of that nature. But really, a lot of things in the community that we help out and do any way we can.
Looking forward to, of course, having that event come up. But anyway, Neil Richardson is going to be on here to talk about all the great things that the Safe House Ministry does in this community, and of course, the relationship and the collaboration with Isaiah. And of course, we talked about Carver and Troop being the big championship game, or the region title game, coming up on Saturday. But we have their head coach, Dale, with us. He's going to be with us at about 5:15, 5:20 or so. And that's Tanner Glisten, the head coach up there. And when I say this guy has a motor, he has a motor.
Yes, he does, man. He does a great job, man. He's the first guy off the bus and the last one to get on the bus. And I think really he does a great job with Troup County over the years. He's done a great job. So really, it's going to be interesting to finally get another interview with him. We talked to him earlier about their indoor facility that they had just gotten had, and he was just ecstatic about that. I can imagine how he's going to feel today, DJ, because he's excited to play.
Absolutely. We were out at Shaw High School and watched them play, Columbus, several weeks back. And, man, I tell you what, on the sideline, boy, he was running up and down that sideline with a vengeance. And, again, he has some coaching responsibilities with the special teams. And every time they scored a touchdown, he would run down and line up his kickoff coverage team. And I tell you, I enjoy watching him.
I mean, really, man, he has more energy than, when you're watching the Georgia game. You see Kirby Smart running everywhere, coaching everywhere, doing everything. This guy got Kirby beat, man.
Absolutely. And I tell you, man, we talked about WRBL Sports Director Rex Castillo, who does a great job with Jack Patterson. Of course, we got the big game coming up this weekend, but a whole lot more. He's going to enlighten us on the schedules coming up on both the Alabama side and the Georgia side. Welcome to the show, Rex. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Hey, man, we're excited. We just basically warmed everybody up, told them that you were going to be letting everybody know what's going on as far as the playoffs and the schedules on the Alabama side. And then, of course, as we wind down the high school football season on the Georgia side. I'm going to drop the mic, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. A really busy week in Alabama. We are in the Final Four round in Class 7A, and once again, we got a rematch between the Central Red Devils and the Auburn Tigers. Just a quick note, again, sure, Central might have had more regular season losses, but Coach Nix has been steady with his message that the only thing that matters is the state championship. So here they are in the Final Four, yet again going up against an Auburn Tigers team that looks more dangerous than they have in the past. This will be at the Duck. It should be an electric environment. I just wish if it was a regular season, y'all, and we had no restrictions on whatever, this would be a packed house for sure. Auburn did get Central back at Garrett Harrison Stadium by 1 point. Really interesting to see how the game plans change for this round. But in the private school ranks in Alabama, we have two teams playing for it all. Chambers Academy taking on Escambia Academy in the Crampton Bowl, and then right after that game, Glenwood taking on Pike Liberal. Chambers Academy, I mean, it's their 6th year in a row. Death, Taxes, and Chambers Academy playing for the state championship is pretty much what has been the story in the past 6 years. And the Glenwood Gators have looked so dominant all season long. Can they take that final step? And I believe they can with this incredible roster they have against Pike Liberal. In Class 6A, we also have the Opelika Bulldogs heading over to Saraland to take on the Spartans in the Elite 8 round. And Lynette looking like old Lynette again. Huge task to replace Christian Story, but that offense and that defense has come back around. They're taking on Leroy. On the Georgia side, tonight, the Hardaway Hawks taking on the LaGrange Rangers. This region, y'all, in 2-4A has just been absolutely insane. These games this week mean so much to the playoff standings. Should be really interesting to see how things go down. On Friday, we also have the Columbus Blue Devils taking on the Shaw Raiders at Kinnett. Whitewater heads to Harris County. Harris County up in that Class 5A region. Now they're making a push towards the playoffs as well. Pacelli has a chance to be region champs as they host Trinity Christian. Heard County comes to LaGrange as well on Friday. They play the Callaway Cavaliers, who already are in the postseason. Chatco looking to put the bow on an incredible undefeated season so far, but they take on the Macon County Bulldogs, one of the best teams in that region. On Saturday, Troup County plays their 3rd game in 7 days. Let me say that one more time. They're playing their 3rd game in 7 days. They're going to take on the Carver Tigers on Saturday for a shot to call themselves region champs as well. Carver, though, man, that's one team you need all the rest for. If they had a bye week and this week to prepare, I'm sure that would have been the ideal situation, not the way the Cars fell in 2020. So a packed schedule that should be really interesting to see. And as we wind down in Georgia, every game matters, every win matters, so those standings for the postseason matter. But, of course, in Alabama, some teams looking to win it all, and some teams looking to punch their ticket to Tuscaloosa.
Rex, when you talk about these lineups here towards the end of the season as we wind it down on the Georgia side, these Tuesday games and these Saturday games, these obviously have been affected by the COVID situation. Is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It's been a combination of things. LaGrange recently lost one of their teammates in an unfortunate accident, which is why they moved their game. Troup County moved their game from Friday to Saturday, kind of give them a short week. But yes, you're right, DJ. A lot of these teams had to readjust because of COVID restrictions and the contact tracing, which, if one person gets it on your team, then they have to figure out how many people they might have been in contact with, and just for safety precautions, have to get everybody in the same protocol as far as whatever the school has in. But it's just a weird time, man. It's a curveball that everybody has to deal with.
Rex, I know you all have you and Jack have a lot of work to do, but I want you to keep in mind that, we're in the community a lot. And I was at Walmart today, and a lady has a daughter that plays girls flag football. And she said, I don't never hear y'all talking about the flag football. Can you update us on the girls flag football?
You know what? We have to do our due diligence to keep up with the flag football as well. We're very much busy with high school football, but I will say that with Columbus High School having the state championship, winning it last year, we're paying attention to them. We'll do better to make some time for the ladies who definitely can ball as well in the gridiron.
You know what? I want to go back to Glenwood. I know that this is an opportunity for them to claim and bring home that ring, man. But the folks in Phoenix City, I don't know if we've done any research, but do you know if we've had a state championship out of Glenwood ever or in anytime soon?
Last time, when I was speaking to Tim Fanning, the last time they won it, 1992. But if Glenwood were to be able to win this championship, go undefeated from start to finish, no Gators team has done that. They've at least lost one game during the regular season. So to go wire to wire, undefeated, and win a state crown, this would be the first one.
Also, Calvary Christian, man, they played themselves into a great situation, man. One more regular season game, and then they'll be hosting the playoffs out of their place.
How unique of a situation is that, too? To be able to host a state championship game and even the playoffs, to run up to that in your hometown. I know that a lot of teams just kind of beg for that during the playoff rounds, but to play a state championship game at home is just a huge game changer. These kids with Calvary Christian going again from that triple option look to a spread offense, kind of adjust with the growing pains there. They're playing on a whole new level of confidence, a new kind of swagger for the Knights. Really great to see how they can finish this up as well. All
right, Rex, you got to give me your take on the Chatco Macon County game. I hear that's going to be a big time game.
Man, if you had to go to one game to try and find the best game in here in Georgia, that's definitely a contender. Chatco has just been so dynamic on both sides of the ball, right? And I think Jack and I were talking about it as well, how they have been able to win different kind of games. They can win in a shootout because they have the athletes and the offense to keep up with you. Or if you want a defensive slugfest, they've proven they can win that way too. Again, they took down the defending state runner place in a 6-0 game. That takes a lot of guts. And sure, it might not be incredibly cool to see the scoreboard not light us up so much, but as two ballers yourself, you know that when you're in those low-scoring games, everything starts to hurt a little bit more. The hits come a little bit harder, and you have to grind it out. And that's just down to a matter of will. You just have to find a way to win. And as you guys know, that sometimes football, you have a game plan, and then it just goes out the window. The saying is, man makes plans and God laughs. Kind of definitely applies to football. So I think that Chatco has been able to adjust that. Macon County has proven to be one of the better teams in this region. If anything, they're one of the people we expected to be in this position. They're 6-0 in the region, 7-1 overall. Definitely, I think this is going to be Chatco's toughest test.
Rex, we got Tanner Glisten coming up a little bit later in the show. Is there any special questions we're going to ask him? Have an opportunity because they got the big showdown going up against Carver on Saturday. But any particular question that you want us to ask him?
How much has he slept in this past week after coaching and getting ready for 3 different games in 7 days? I mean, these coaches pour in so much of the heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears, all that sweat equity. Just what is it like to coach 3 different games in the span of 7 days?
Unbelievable. That's
just insane to me, guys. Like that's a tough stretch for baseball. That's a pretty tough stretch for basketball. But you're asking your kids after going through an emotional game like LaGrange, another game on the road at Durden, and then you're coming back to Columbus to play arguably the best team in that region. Like, how do you get your kids mentally ready for that? So, man, I have to know the answer to that question.
Hey, man, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you and where they can watch you.
I appreciate that, guys. So you can always catch us on WRBL. We're on the 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. show. Our show, The Prep Zone, airs at 11:15 p.m. Eastern on Friday nights. That's 10:15 p.m. Central. On social media, Jack and I are pretty active on Twitter. I'm at Rex Castillo TV. Jay Patterson TV is how you find Jack. And then we're also active on Facebook as well as WRBL News 3 Sports. Just, if you don't catch us on air, be sure to catch us on those social media pages, and we'll have links to all the stories that we got.
Rex, you guys keep up the great work, man. We appreciate you, and tell you, man, we look forward to, of course, watching the Prep Zone this weekend as well.
You guys are such great partners. I really appreciate that. We're just living the dream, trying to do the best we can every day.
All right.
Thank
That's
you,
Rex Castillo from WRBL. Hey, we're going to go ahead and take a break. You are listening to WRCG 92.1. You're watching us on Facebook Live as well as CTV Beam. We'll be right back after this.
Honey, how will we ever tell everyone about the great new brands we have in?
Do you mean the No Love, or the 4 Pockets Full, the Rich Forever, or the In? All of those brands will be here and more.
We have a large selection of LRG and Aku,
Black Pyramid, the Latif Gray, the Hustle Gang, and as always, we carry a large selection of New Era caps.
So come see us at the Clothes Connection, located at 3360 Buena Vista Road, or call 706-984-8575.
It started with a few smaller bills. $50 here,
$80.
$100.
I had good health insurance.
Why isn't this covered?
Well, then they started getting bigger. $800.
$1,800.
I saved for this.
But not that much.
I'm glad I had Aflac.
They gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here, to help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
I love that Aflac duck.
Aflac! Get to know us at aflac.com.
In Japan, they have something called Kobe beef. That's how we do it at Luke's Pub. 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 Y'all come out and see us.
Headquarter Nissan has the same used cars as our competitors for much less, and with a lifetime warranty.
Their 2018 Ford Fusion, 17.7. Ours, 16.9. That's over $750 less.
Plus a lifetime warranty.
Their 2017 Altima, 15.9. Ours, 15.4.
Plus a lifetime warranty. Compare and see for yourself. Don't pay more for less, pay less for more. A lot more. Headquarter Nissan.
Greetings, this is Reverend Thomas H. Mills Jr., pastor of Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc., located at 3574 Macon Road, Columbus, Georgia. I want to invite you to join us in our weekly worship services. On Sunday mornings, our worship service is held at 11 a.m. on Facebook at Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc.STLMI. On Tuesday evenings, our Women's Bible Study is held at 7 p.m. led by Associate Minister Terry Myers via Zoom. On Thursdays, our General Bible Study is held at 7 p.m. also via Zoom. On Fridays, a word of encouragement is given at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook at Spirit, Truth, and Liberty Ministries, Inc.STLMI. We look forward to you joining us, and until then, may the blessings of God be with you.
Welcome to Peaceful River Residential Services, where we care for your family like our family. Peaceful River is dedicated to creating an environment where we constantly exceed the expectations of our individuals. We strive to set the industry standard and be the provider of choice that meets the lifelong needs of your family. We are the caring provider whose respect for the individual's privacy and protecting their confidentiality is our top priority. We are the provider whose most valuable asset is you, our family. Call Peaceful Rivers today at 762-821-1476. Remember, at Peaceful River, we provide peace for your peace of mind.
For the best in local, regional, and national sports news, be sure to tune to the Sports Visions radio show every Monday and Thursday from 4 to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Over the past 16 years, DJ Jones and Dale Williams have celebrated and uplifted our local high school coaches and student athletes. So get a behind-the-scenes look from your hometown sports guys. DJ Jones and Dale Williams on WRCG 92.1.
Gear up for fall at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Big ups to Rex Castillo, Dale. Of course, he is a great partner, man, to have in this business because, again, you don't know it all. You don't know it all, and obviously when you're partners, you have an opportunity to share the turf, share the table, share the plate, and again, share the information.
That's right, DJ, and they do a great job setting the table for us, make it very easy for us to cover high school football. They do a great job with the prep zone.
And also want to congratulate Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, of course, Dale University of Georgia's #1 pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I know he was the one-and-done kid in Athens. I know Coach Cream didn't like that because, again, they were hopefully going to be able to establish or reestablish the University of Georgia's championship culture. I know that was established back during our days with Dominique Wilkins and Terry Fair and Lamar Hurd, Vern Fleming, and James Banks.
That's right.
They had some great teams back there. And old Floyd, I can't forget you. I know you're watching out there. Derek Floyd. Yes, exactly right. But Dale, you know what? That was a great accomplishment. Even the fact that he is a one and done kid, but the fact that Crean was able to get him at Georgia, get him in Athens, it shocked a lot of people. But it shouldn't have if they knew the history of Coach Crean. He was a coach that coached Dwayne Wade at up in what was the school there?
Marquette.
Yeah. Marquette, yeah. But Ant-Man was a big fan of Dwayne Wade, and obviously, he was, that had a lot to do with him making the decision to go to the University of Georgia.
And when he was at Indiana, he had Victor Oladipo as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Similar players that attract to Tom Crean's style.
Absolutely, but right now, man, he's paid. Now we talk about generational wealth. And the thing about it, the story with him is that I didn't know that his mom and his grandmom, who he adored, they both passed. And he's had to go through that. I think his mom died when he was like 14 years old, years old. But for that young man to continue with the talents that he had, again, whoever was around him and surrounded him, they definitely had some good folks, man, because I also understand he was a pretty good doggone football player, running back.
I saw him, man. You saw this kid, the 6'1", playing Pop Warner, just running through people. But really, I didn't see all that coming, DJ. We saw him play this year. Everybody was saying how good he was, but, I didn't see him being the number one pick at the time. But really, everybody, any kind of NBA analyst or scout, everybody was saying Anthony Edwards would be the guy, and I kept hearing the name of Ant-Man in Atlanta, and, this guy's the real deal, he's better than Dominique. I'm like, oh, hold up, player. He's better than Dominique? So I was like, okay, we got to watch this guy, DJ.
Well, one thing about it, when you talk about, the book on him and as far as his skill set, Dale, when they start talking about he had the motor and the athleticism of Westbrooks, and he had the scoring mentality of Harden, that was outstanding. But we do know this. He's a powerful young man. He can, had great leaping ability. He has a great agility. The physical package is there. The mark on him, as far as, of course, what a lot of folks were saying that probably knew him better than us, that said that he wasn't a player or proponent for watching film. Now, at the next level, especially where he is now, when you got that much of athletic ability, and growing up, Dale, sometimes you don't have to do all that stuff. You're talented enough, you're so overbearing, you're so overpowering, looking at film or studying, just like some kids are just, naturally smart. They don't have to do homework. A lot of kids were able. This guy, now that he is on the professional, playing with the best players in the world, I'm sure that he will be, around the likes of LeBron James and some of the other greats, and understand that, of course, in order to maintain, being superior in that particular sport, he's going to have to break down film. He's going to have to study his opponents. He's going to have to know, the different terminology. And you can help me with this, Thrift, if you will, with regards to playing defense or playing offense, being able to come off screens and whatnot. You're the basketball guy.
Yeah, well, they've just traded for Ricky Rubio to bring another point guard in Minnesota, and they're going to build around D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, and Karl Anthony Towns. This gives them a dynamic backcourt in which they wanted to mimic, just like everyone tried to with Golden State and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. So I think this is going to be a good matchup for Minnesota, and especially bringing Ricky Rubio, bringing a veteran leader with these young guys. Minnesota could be on the verge, but the thing is, in the West, there's so many great playoff teams. I don't know how it's going to play out, so I'm excited with NBA free agency. I mean, it's getting crazy.
Let's hold it right there, because I want to ask you this with regards to the trading and all of this stuff that's coming up. Now, they've had the draft. Now free agency is the next, but, I mean, what in the hell is going on with James Harden and Westbrook's out there with Houston, man?
And, it came out that they didn't like Tillman Fertitta supporting Trump. That was going to be their main reason wanting to be traded. Now it's because they don't like the direction of the organization. My thought is, out of all places you want to go to Brooklyn, in a place that is not set up for you to succeed because you're going to be competing with your own player in Kyrie. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm with you on player empowerment. But then there's a fine line between player empowerment and DJ, you said this off where off air, integrity of the league. And I think that's where they're flirting with that right now, and they need to get back on track. And to be honest with you, when that CBA comes, you don't think the owner's going to remember this day when the NBA, when they're deciding all that power, like, oh yeah, we're going to be getting that back when we have the collective bargaining agreement.
We'll have an opportunity to come back to you in the NBA in just a little bit. But, Dale, we want to get ready for our good friend and former teammate, my frat brother, of course, Guy McIntyre, who is doing big things with the San Francisco 49ers. Dale, you know what? I think you go ahead and take a few seconds to talk about that tight end switch from tight end to offensive lineman.
You know, when we were at Georgia, you know, Guy McIntyre, he came in, man, he was the all-state tight end. I'm talking about top 100. I mean, he was a big-time tight end. Not only did we bring Guy McIntyre in, you had James Brown out of Montgomery over there as a big
JB.
And you know, for his cornerback, when you are a cornerback like 6'1", 165 pounds, you don't need to be messing with no tight end that's like 6'4", 260 pounds, who basically ate himself into being a damn tackle.
Yeah.
You didn't want to mess with McIntyre. I mean,
Right.
but he would block. He was, you know, it was a joy to see Guy McIntyre in the Oklahoma drill going up against Weaver or somebody else, because really, if McIntyre got a hold of you, he was going to block you for a long time. You know, I used to get mad at the defensive lineman, like, look here, man, I can't cover nobody if you back here in my way. And, I mean, he was just that strong as a blocker.
Absolutely, and the thing I love about him is he had that dog in him, man. You know, you got to have a guy like that. He will fight you until he will die on a field. But I like the other thing, you know, I like about him is that he always looked up. You know how DBs, you like to fly up around the pile?
Yeah.
He looked up DBs, but you know, I knew that. So I always kept my head on the swivel, and I was never able to get that punch, because he would punch you and knock you to the ground.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we want to welcome to the Sports Visions radio show our good friend, my frat brother, Guy McIntyre. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
What's up, McIntyre?
Under the circumstances.
Yeah, man. I know we got COVID and a lot of things going on with you know, the police injustice and all of the stuff, the social injustices. But you know what? We're gonna forget that, and that's one great thing, Guy, that we do with this show. For 2 hours, we're able to relieve and take people away from those thoughts. And even though they're still here, but we got 2 hours to talk about sports. We talk about the relationships, and we have folks like you to come on, and we reminisce about the back in the day. But again, I just want to start right now. But did you take that same mentality into the National Football League? You left Georgia because you used to look up DBs that ran around the pile. Did you do that in the NFL as well?
Oh yeah. You know, y'all always trying to sneak up and get that last hit in, and I'm trying to get you off my guy. You know.
Yeah, guy. But I tell you, you weren't the biggest lineman. I know that there was a lot of guys that were bigger. You know, you had the 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", the 350 plus guys. But I tell you what, man, I would take you any day, because again, you were like a pit bull, man. And I know you've heard that more than in your fair share. But what was the driving force of you having that type of mentality when you played the game?
Well, you know, when you play for Coach McDuffie, man, you gotta be like that. You know, he instilled that, and he just brought it out of me. I'm a nice guy, you know that, Dale.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes.
But when I cross the striped line, I don't have no friends, bro. No friends at all.
Well, you know, McIntyre, that's one thing I do always liked about you, man. You know, you were just real down to earth. And you and Jimmy Womack and Donnie McMickens, y'all are the kind of guys that I'm going to take y'all to the fight with me. And I'm going to let y'all get out first, because really, you all didn't play. When you got on the football field, you were intense, you were passionate about what you did. But one thing that I do know, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, is that you were the best at making the best out of your situation. I remember when you changed from tight end to tackle, and you became not just a tackle, you became a starting tackle. Talk to us about being able to take your situation, take adversity, and then turn it into everything that you wanted to be.
Well, you know, that's the thing about sports, and that's the thing about life. I mean, things happen, and you know, everybody's good when the milk is flowing and the food is on the table. But when adversity strikes, that's when, you know, you have to step it up a notch. That's when the real person comes out, and that's what you have to make it in life and in football, especially. You know, you gotta be able to dig down deep and and pull on something that maybe wasn't there, but that's what it's all about. You know, like I said, once again, when everything is good, everybody's happy. But when things go bad, the people that really want it, and that's when you have to dig down deep and go get it. You know, that's when that country comes out of you. You know, that old South Georgia.
Yeah, the pride and joy of Thomasville, Georgia, man, I tell you. You know, Guy, you've had the opportunity to play at the University of Georgia. You're a national champion. You played with one of the greatest, or the greatest, if not the greatest, college football player in America. And also then from there, you had the opportunity to go out and play with one of the teams in one of the great eras of pro football with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm talking about the likes of Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig. The list goes on and on and on, man. You've lived the dream, all of that from a small town of Thomasville, Georgia. Did you have any idea growing up that you would be on multiple championship teams, college as well as the pros?
No, you know, I mean, you know, growing up in Thomasville, we had a real great tradition of football. You know, South Georgia, Georgia football, Florida football. You know, it takes a lot to get up for that second practice when that humidity is beating down on your head and go through them 2 days. And that's the thing that I brought to San Francisco. You know, I just tried to bear down and when I had the opportunity to make the most of it. You know, one thing Coach McDuffie told me a long time ago, God bless his soul, is that, hey, look, you out here for 2, maybe 2.5 hours, give it all you got. And that's the same mentality I took when I went to the 49ers. I looked around the locker room. I saw these great players. They had won a championship a couple of years prior, and I just wanted to be a part of that. I just wanted to fit in. And I know on the football field, the way to fit in is go out there and do your job. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to go out there with that same mentality every day, regardless of what was going on, and do my work. And it paid off for me.
You know, Guy, you know, for us being almost a culture shock, you know, you mentioned that you're from South Georgia, you're from Thomasville, Georgia, and, you know, that was a good thing as far as I was concerned. But I think really when you make the change to go into the San Francisco 49ers, was there any kind of culture shock, man, or do you have culture shock sometime watching Pac-12 football compared to SEC football?
Well, you know, growing up in the South, I mean, yeah, it was a little culture shock coming out here to California. You know, it's big, it's vast, it's very multicultural. I mean, you know, back in the South, you know, it was kind of, you know, you knew what was going on. But when I got out here, just living, you know, was different. It was different style. You weren't right there. You didn't have the Mac to go get your food. You had to go out and get your food on your own. And you had to find your own place to stay, and you had to deal with those elements. But once that was done, then it was all about football, you know, and that didn't change. That didn't change. Football was football. The thing about football, you got to go out there, you gotta go man against man, and you got to be ready. You know, that was the deal. That was the only real culture shock, was just a different environment, but the football was the same.
If you're just joining us, we have with us former All-SEC offensive lineman and former NFL Pro Bowler Guy McIntyre, who's a world champion, a national champion in college, a world champion with the 49ers. Guy, I just want to let you know we are members of an incredible fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, and I know that we have a couple of frat brothers in particularly that I want to let you know. Eric Borders is listening, of course, via either Facebook or our app. And also Ron Schofield. You remember Sco? He's out in Chicago, and he basically typed me a note and said, you know, because I was talking about all the great things you had done at Georgia and with the 49ers, but he also reminded me that he also did well with the Green Bay Packers. And again, talk about those Green Bay days, because I got a little understanding of what it's like to play in Green Bay.
Right. Well, you know, Green Bay it was totally different than San Francisco. It was more like a college atmosphere because everybody in Green Bay is Green Bay. You played up there, so you know what it was at Northrop College that we practiced at.
DP.
And, you know, the fans are always out. the little kids with their bikes and stuff. It was more of a down home feel, but it was great. It was great because it was green and gold.
Yeah.
Green and gold. You saw no other colors in Packerland other than green and gold. so it was kind of like being at the University of Georgia on a Saturday. Hey, everything turned red and black, but everything on Sunday up there was green and gold, except for when you saw the people in the orange camouflage suits that went out and hunted deer that early that morning and brought them to the game with them.
The pride and joy of Thomasville, Georgia, Guy McIntyre is our guest. And Guy, let's talk a little bit about, moving forward. I know you had the illustrious career in college and in the pros, but then you took it up another notch because over 18 years that you've been working in the front office with the San Francisco 49ers, and more importantly, I guess for the last little less than a decade that you have been in charge or the director of alumni relations. And with all the great teams and all the great players and all the great things that have go on when you're a champion, that must be a fun job to organize events and to basically communicate to the alumni, the former players that played there. You must be sitting on cloud nine, man.
Yeah, I mean, I Dale and Drac, what's up, man?
What's up, player? I hear you. I hear you, McIntyre.
But when I came out, and then I had a chance to join the 49er organization, that was like a dream come true. My first couple of years, my first 5 years, I worked directly with the players in player development, and I helped them to do things outside of football to help them to expand their career and their life after the game. But then I moved into alumni relations, and it's been great. Just getting guys together every year for alumni weekend and also just getting to know some of the 49er greats that played for the 49ers in the past. And that's been a real great opportunity there because you got to know some of the older guys, Jimmy Johnson, Dave Wilcox, and you got to meet them and you got to learn a little bit more about the history. But it's been great because, the 49ers have always had somebody in their alumni department. I mean, R.C. Owens was the guy that I took over, and Oops was a great player himself. And it's just great when I can get the guys together and do something for them or give them some information about benefits or things that will help them in their life after pro football.
McIntyre, you're in the right place. You do events, you do all these things for the 49ers. And we got an event that's coming up, and then about, our 40th anniversary of our national championship team. When you think about that team, McIntyre, talk to me about what you really think about and what do you think of Georgia football right now?
Well, the first thing I think about is the pig that got killed over there at the research.
You can't tell nobody that.
Oh, it's 40 some odd years removed now. You can tell it. Tell it, McIntyre.
I remember kissing that pig at Rat School.
That was for the folks that are listening out there, they didn't know, but, freshmen had an orientation that included this rat core deal. I had to go through it, Dale. You had to go through it. McIntyre, for the folks that are listening, I had to set it up so they'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I happened to be the Grand Dragon. I was a fifth-year senior. And but I think that's when it all started because those guys, those seniors and those juniors that were part of that initiation had to stay that off season and work. And I think that's when they really came together and really built a bond. And so we always had that to draw on during that period. And I think that really was the catalyst for us winning the championship that year. That camaraderie that they built during that time, serving out their penalty per se, for kind of bringing that pig to the rap core. But it was a great experience, man. I mean, just thinking about those days back at Georgia and just that march, the march that we had and that we went on. I mean, you got the great catch with Lindsey Scott in Florida. You got Herschel Walker coming on the scene. you know, and the Bill Bates thing, and all of it was just a combination of getting to the Super Bowl, getting to the Sugar Bowl, and winning that championship.
Former Pro Bowler Guy McIntyre, of course, I say former, but you always, once a Pro Bowler, you're always a Pro Bowler. But Guy, when we talk about, you know, you and your transition from the South to going out and making a living out in San Francisco, I remember a few years back in the early 90s, I was with Mizuno, and I had my headquarters was in San Francisco. So we had an opportunity to spend some time with you. And what I noticed about then when I came out there, I mean, there were some big name players on that team. There were some guys that obviously were all world, but I went to actually, I thought it was a bachelor party of some sort. We were in downtown San Francisco. But the respect that your teammates had for you, I mean, you were calling the shots, man. I mean, you never would have thought. And again, I know Ricky Waters and all of those guys were, you know, a part of that team, and they were part of those festivities. But I recognized then, I saw you in college as a teammate, and I knew what you were then. I saw you as a fraternity brother in Athens. I know what you were. But when I saw the respect that you commanded with the 49ers off the field, man, that took it to a whole nother level. How did you pull that off? I mean, what was instrumental in you being the leader for those guys? I mean, because again, they were older guys, or guys older than you that been in the league a while, but everybody was at your command pretty much.
Well, you know, Dale, it comes down to when you play football, you gain respect by going out there and competing, and you gain respect from your teammates by them being able to count on you. And that's what I did. That's what I tried to do. I tried to go out every day, every game that we played in, and play my hardest to earn that respect. And that's what you play for. I know you know a lot of people, and I don't want to take anything away from the fans, but you play for the guys that are on the field with you. And the same thing in Georgia, the same thing in Thomasville. You know, you want to earn that respect. And the only way you earn that respect from your teammates is that they know that they can count on you in the games. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to show up at practice. I tried to be there in the games. I tried to lift guys up. And that's the way you earn that respect. And obviously, you know, it carries over to them respecting you off the field.
You know, McIntyre, you know, for us, the caliber of football that you played and what we were brought up on playing, you know, hard-nosed, getting in your face, being very physical football, nothing has changed in that respect. But at the same time, do you have any time to even watch SEC football or just college football in general? And what's your take on college football right now?
Well, you know, being out here on the left coast, as they call it, you know, you don't get to see all the SEC football like you do, the SEC football like you do if you were back south. But I do try to, when I know Georgia's playing, I try to be right in front of the TV. I love Georgia. I had a great experience in Georgia, and I'm always trying to keep up with Georgia and see what they're doing over there. I don't know a lot of the players, but I've been able to go back to a couple of games every now and then. I think the last game I was at was Gurley last year when he scored like 4 touchdowns, you know, and I was able to go back there. But the one thing that I don't miss is that humidity. I don't miss, and I try to stay away from Georgia in those summer months. But I went to the game, and I think it was in September, and I even it got so bad that I had to wear a tank top, bro. I had to get a tank top. I was sweating, because I got declimatized being out here in California. But I try to stay involved with the SEC and tune in to as much as possible. And then, too, there's always a standing bet when you have guys that played in the SEC, when y'all play each other, that standard $20 bet, whoever wins. And I've had, you know, Fred Beasley has been out here. I played was here when Fred was here. And any of the guys that come, you know, Terry Holden had a little stop out here in California with the 49ers also. And but I love SEC football, and I know it's the greatest conference around, you know.
Absolutely. Guy McIntyre, of course, a former University of Georgia All-SEC lineman. Guy, again, we mentioned some of the, the accolades that you've accomplished over the years with regards to playing on a world champion. But who are some of the people that stand out in your mind on those championship teams? Because obviously, when you're talking about playing on a national championship team in college, playing on a world championship team in the National Football League, there's certain individuals that are special. And again, they're willing to give it up for the team. They're willing to leave it on the field. Talk to me a little bit about some of the players that stand out in your mind from those world championship teams with the 49ers.
Well, you think about, everybody knows the Ronnie Lotts, the Joe Montanas, the Dwight Clark. But some of the greatest players that I played with are John Taylor, great wide receiver, Charles Haley, great defensive end, Michael Carter, Bubba Paris, who I played side by side for many years with on the left side. And it's guys like that make those teams. And it's the everyday players. I've had a chance to play with a lot of guys, and those are some of the guys that just come to mind when I think about those championship teams, that people that probably didn't get all the accolades, because you have the Jerry Rice, you have the Joe Montanas, you have the Roger Craigs, and then but nobody knows about not limelight like John Taylor, but Charles Haley. Those guys are the guys that I really enjoyed playing with and know that were an intricate part of what we did out here in San Francisco.
Well, McIntyre, you really have lived had a great football career from the standpoint of winning also. You left a winning program in college. You went right into a winning program with the 49ers. When you base those two things on just far as winning is concerned, do you have any regrets? Because you didn't have that many losses anyway, but did you have any regrets of some things that you was trying to do that you couldn't do? Or just talk to me about really your career as being a winner.
Well, you always have regrets. It's just the games that we lost that you remember most. You don't remember the wins. You remember the wins, but it's the losses that haunt you. I was able to play on 3 Super Bowl teams and won the Super Bowl, but then there was also 2 other ones that we lost. That we didn't get into the playoffs. We didn't get to the championship game. And then you go back to Georgia and you think about the opportunities we had there to play against Pitt. It was against Pitt and against Penn State that we didn't win the Sugar Bowl. We could have won another SEC championship, not SEC championship, but another national championship. But it's those games like that when I sit down and think about it, that haunt me. The ones that I lost. But I am fortunate, and I have played on some great teams all the way from high school up to college. And then when I think about high school, I think about getting beat by Valdosta.
Everybody did.
And I had the fortunate, I had William Andrews is from Thomasville.
Yeah.
And Charlie Ward is from Thomasville. And those guys, you think about also, but yeah, it's the ones that you lost, man, that haunt you.
Well, Guy, I tell you what, man, we really appreciate you sharing your time and your stories with us here, and as well as the Sports Visions Nation, man, and just a great opportunity to talk to you, man. We look forward to talking to you real soon, man. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking to get back. Hopefully everything goes well next year and we can have that 40th year anniversary, because I'm looking forward to getting back to Georgia and seeing some of the old college teammates.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you, man, and great talking to you, big guy.
Thank you, man.
All right, y'all have a good one. Take care. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. All right, that's Guy McIntyre. Hey, you are watching Facebook Live, and you're watching also CTV Beam, and you're listening to WRCG 92.1. This is the Sports Visions Radio Show.
Bus is coming in 10 minutes. Come eat breakfast.
Hey, watch the homework.
Do you know it's supposed to rain?
Where's my gray hat? Where did you leave it?
It's your body.
What time does practice end today?
I like that headband. It really makes a statement.
Are you gonna wear this to work? Let's go. Bus is here.
Liberty Utilities natural gas. So reliable, you'll forget we're there.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Big ups to our good friend Dale out there in San Francisco on the left coast. That's Guy McIntyre, man. I tell you what, that was a bad man, boy.
He was a bad man, really. And all good things happen to McIntyre. Like I said, for him having his career at Georgia, being an all-SEC guy, to going to San Francisco, being an all-pro guy. I mean, he's a good guy.
You know what I took away from that interview that I loved the most is that it didn't matter if it was his teammate in front of him, a competitor in front of him, whoever's in front of him, he's going to take your head off.
No.
That's how the players nowadays need to be in these young generation. They want to be buddy with everybody.
It's even bigger than that. He was going to eat your ass up.
And that's how you should be as a competitor.
Yes, yeah. Also, big ups to Rex Castillo over at WRBL. Of course, he set us up for the weekend with the games that will be played on the Alabama side as far as the playoffs deal. And, boy, it's hard to imagine that we're almost at the end of the road with Alabama high school football. And then, of course, the end of the season here in Georgia.
I mean, really, man, it's November, man, and it's almost like, we're usually a full into the playoffs. This year with the COVID situation being in, it's kind of dragging along, but really, hats off to the Georgia High School Association, the Alabama High School Association for trying to get these games in, and most of all, hats off to these coaches who's making sure these kids are safe.
Another couple of minutes here before we have to go to the top of the hour for an ID break. But, I wanted to just set up this next interview that we will have. Of course, the executive director with Safe House Ministries is Neil Richardson. And we're going to have an opportunity, Dale, to talk to him a little bit about what's going on. There's a lot of folks, especially around the holidays, Dale. People need help, and people obviously need to know where they can find help. And, again, there's a lot of folks that are less fortunate than others. And we are proud to have an opportunity to work with guys like Isaiah Crowell, who obviously he puts his money where his mouth is, Dale. I mean, obviously, this guy, he's a very wealthy young professional athlete. However, his upbringing gave him the wherewithal that, he wants to give back to his community, and he has done so, and he will do so. Of course, with this Feed the Hungry, he has a foundation, Feed the Crow Foundation, and of course, Isaiah Crowell will be, of course, doing so with his feeding event at Safe House on Tuesday. We'll have an opportunity to talk to the executive director in just a little bit. In the meantime, you're watching CTV Beam, and you're also watching on Facebook Live, and you're listening to WRCG 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Should planning your travel be more stressful than staying at home? Of course not. Here at Lumpkin Travel, our VIP service makes traveling easy and fun.
Girls Trip!
We've helped serve thousands of people and families experience their dream vacation by taking the hassle out of travel.
Thank you.
We book your flight, reserve your hotel, and make sure you have a stress-free vacation so you can enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you.
We even help you choose different activities that you're guaranteed to enjoy. And the best part is, we find you the best price at no extra charge for you. Actually, 95% of customers save money and time by booking with Lumpkin Travel. So start thinking about your dream vacation. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, we'll make it happen for you. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today or log on and set up your vacation of a lifetime with Lumpkin Travel, your travel agent for life.
E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse has been your most trusted name in men's fashion for more than 50 years. We've offered the area's best selection of top quality, name brand suits, accessories, and casual wear at the most competitive prices around. Customer service is our top priority. We're the professionals generations have trusted for the best quality and absolutely the best deals. We are E&S Men's Clothing Warehouse. We are simply the best.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price. 3 locations to serve you.
Hey, my name is George, and I love the Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. It's like me grilling at home. It tastes very similar to that, except the seasoning. I probably can't season it as well as Chick-fil-A does. The chicken's super tender, and honestly, the best nuggets I've ever tasted.
My name is Meredith, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese is the oven-toasted, cheesy top layer. If home had a flavor, it would be Chick-fil-A's mac and cheese. I'm passionate about it.
And once again, special thanks to our former teammate and good friend, Guy McIntyre, out with the San Francisco 49ers. Dale played with some great teams and some great players.
Great players, man, and really, Guy McIntyre goes down in history as one of the top football players that ever played in the NFL and at the University of Georgia. Big-time guy, great personality, good friend.
Yes, indeed. Hey, man, check this out, man. It's almost Thanksgiving. Next week, man, is Thanksgiving. Can you imagine that, man? We're approaching the major holidays, man, and then from Thanksgiving and into the Christmas season, man, I tell you, boy, we are blessed indeed.
Yes, we are, DJ, and I just remember just as far as the spring is concerned, we were concerned with the coronavirus situation and didn't know what this year was going to end up being, but really, by the grace of God, it's been all right, man.
You're absolutely right, man. You said a mouthful there because, again, there's some people that are not here, of course, whether it's COVID related or whatever, but, we're still here. And again, I just, like I said earlier in this show, I just like the fact that we're able, even in these times, times of COVID and the crisis, we have a couple of hours that we're able to, of course, relieve folks' mind from all of the, all the things that are going on out there in a negative way, whether it's COVID or whether it's injustices or whatever. I mean, it's just a great opportunity to talk about sports in a positive way, to share stories. And again, I'm just blessed to be able to do that, Dale. And I know in these times you feel good about it as well.
I feel great about it, DJ, because the last 16 years of doing Sports Vision, we've always told people that, it's a lot of things come out of being in sports, and it's not just scores. It's not about, games. It's all about, your platform. But one of the biggest things is the relationships and all the things that you can use your platform for. That's one thing that we want to continue to try to do, is use our platform to help someone. And at the same time, DJ, a lot of things go on in sports that we don't even talk about, that really just in everyday talking, in everyday conversation we don't talk about. But there's a lot of things go along in sports, man.
Absolutely. And again, part of sports too, again, the thing that brings us all together, whether it's a black, white, old, young, rich, poor, it's just a great feeling to have. And when and you're rooting for the same team, or if you're rooting for rivalries, something about sports, especially here in SEC country, is something that we really enjoy. Hey, without further ado, we'd like to go ahead to the phone lines and go over to the Safe House Ministries, where we're going to welcome in Neil Richardson, the executive director. How are you, sir?
I am great tonight. How about y'all?
Wonderful. Thank you, Neil, for agreeing to come on board and to kind of share with the Sports Visions Nation, again, what Safe House Ministries is all about, their mission statement as far as, and also some of the things that you do here in this community.
Well, first of all, I'm honored and thanks. And as a football fanatic, this is a fun place to go. So, Safe House Ministry started off with the chaplain's office in the Muskogee County Jail. And then God just kept saying, oh, no, we have to do more and we have to do more. And I'll give you an example. As the chaplain, we were able to start getting churches and community organizations to come in and start providing not just religious and spiritual growth, which is critical, but also preparation for reentry. We began working on substance abuse issues, housing issues, education issues. We have a GED program in the jail that's given out almost 200 high school diplomas to inmates in our jail. Who's hiring non-high school graduates out there? And who's paying anything more than minimum wage? And so it's an opportunity to change a life. But we discovered when people moved out, that old adage of same playground, same playmates produce the same behaviors. So we needed to do some things on the outside. So we opened the Safe House, which became a safe place for people to come while they're trying to focus on getting their lives turned around, and access to resources and non-judgmental people. So you need something, or it's even a safe place to hang out. Come on down and hang out with us. We built a women's shelter that's called Trinity House that has 25 beds. We opened that in 2011, and 700 plus women and children have stayed with us there. We allow a woman to stay with us long enough to get a job, save money, and then move into her own place so that she's not homeless anymore. We then opened a Grace House, which is a men's shelter, and it operates the same formula. Stay with us long enough. We never charge anything. Nobody taps a watch and rushes you out the door. We help them find a job, and we help them get their money saved, and then help them find a place where they can live. And I can tell you that the way God has produced for us is 68% of the men, women, and children that have lived in any of our shelters, and it's over 1,100 people, have all moved into permanent housing after being with us.
Wow. That's
So
outstanding.
the Safe House also operates a free, and I want to underline that word, free, intensive substance abuse program for folks here in Columbus. It's state licensed as an intensive program, and it's the only one free in the state of Georgia with that level of certifications, because we deal with people on life's margins, substance abuse, incarceration, and homelessness. So the Safe House provides probably the number one cause of homelessness, the number one cause of incarceration, drinking and drugging. And so we provide hope to finish that. We provide a safe place to come and hang out, and access to resources, and ultimately housing, food, clothing, and the things that go with that.
Neil Richardson is the executive director with Safe House Ministries. And, of course, Neil, I appreciate you sharing with everybody out there, letting them know a few of the things that you guys do. But I want to go ahead and move forward with regards to partnering with folks out there that want to come and help. They see what you're doing. I know in particularly Isaiah Crowell, the NFL player who has Feed the Crow Foundation. He's going to be partnering with you all on Tuesday to feed over 200 people a hot meal at your facility on Hamilton Road. And people like Isaiah and others, again, here we got a young professional athlete that's from Columbus, Georgia, that he could be anywhere in the world. I tell people all the time, he could be doing anything, but of course, he's thoughtful enough to come home. And of course, he saw what you guys were doing and wanted to be a part of it. This is his second event that he's going to be doing on Tuesday. But of course, last year he did the goodie bag giveaways with all the toiletries. But when you have folks like that to step up, and I know you do have others, but in particular with Isaiah Crowell, our professional athlete from right here in the community, what does that mean to not just the staff, but even the folks that come and use your services?
You know, first of all, and I got to brag on Isaiah, because, you know what, as an athlete, he can go, like you said, he can go anywhere and do anything during the holidays. He called us. He said, I want to help.
That's right.
And he didn't send a group of people that he paid. He was there. His mama was there. People that are close to him came with him. You know, the people that we serve and the people that work for us can smell honesty and integrity, and they know who's there to get a warm feeling for themselves, and they also know who cares enough to come home and share love with home people.
You know, Neil,
and Isaiah didn't come in there like I'm some big shot. He came in there like a humble man who was blessed and came home to this community and wanted to share that. And if you're a homeless person or a struggling person right now in the midst of the holidays, to know that somebody who's a big shot in the TV world, in the football world, in the sports world, cared enough to show up and give you something, but most of what he gave them was a handshake, a smile, and a kind word. And that changes lives. I'm so proud of Isaiah, man. This is one cool dude who came home and blessed home, and he's humble, he's loving, and he's caring. And our people, listen, my staff's so excited right now. People are trying to trade off days to make sure that they were there.
Wow. Well, you know, Neil, I want to commend you for doing a great job at the Safe House and all the things that you do. And we know that, you know, without any collaborations and partnerships with people in the city, for as the police department is concerned, for as the Department of Correction is concerned, it would not be able for you to do these things. Talk to me about the other partnerships that you do have with state agencies and also the police reform group or the police enforcement people. Talk to us about those partnerships.
So, and you know, and I'm excited about this. I'll give you one for instance. You know, about 5 years ago, it snowed in Columbus. I'm from Miami, guys. Snow's weird. It belongs on TV. Okay. So I'm here, and it's fixing to snow, and the week before, a guy died because it got down to 18 degrees outside. That's crazy. And so we decided that the Safe House will forever open if it's 28 or colder.
That's
Red
good.
Cross gave us a bunch of cots and stuff.
Good stuff.
But the police and the sheriffs and the marshals, if they're out on the street and they see somebody, instead of arresting them or, you know, try to do a kindness arrest, let me put you in jail so you won't be cold tonight, they just come straight to the Safe House. And there's one lieutenant who every year goes out and hits a few of the stores that are, while he's running around telling them that people are staying at the Safe House tonight to stay out of the freeze, and they'll come in with 100 bananas, 100 oranges, you know, 30 bags of chips and a couple of cases of soda pops. That's just from the law enforcement people trying to help our community. You know, sometimes just what you guys are doing. We're on a sports show, okay? I love sports, and I love talking stats and hollering for my team. And you guys are taking a pause to talk about helping folks. I mean, that's what it takes to make community. And when we make community, we can end homelessness for a bunch of folks. We can feed hungry people, and we can get them in a better place. Because when we work together, we're unstoppable.
Neil Richardson, who is the executive director with Safe House Ministries. Neil, we appreciate you, man, stopping by and sharing all of that great information. We appreciate you on allowing Sports Visions to help collaborate with the Isaiah Crowell Feed the Crow Foundation. And we look forward to being with you on Tuesday. Again, the feeding is from 11 to 1:30. Also want to give a big shout out to Pastor Eric, because he's one of your staffers that he's a tremendous guy, easy to work with, and thinks a lot about you and the staff and the people over at Safe House. But we want to thank you, man.
Y'all have a blessed night. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another short break. You are listening to WRCG 92.1. You're watching Facebook Live as well as CTV Beam. We'll be right back after these messages.
Honey, how will we ever tell everyone about the great new brands we have in?
Do you mean the No Love, or the 4 Pockets Full, the Rich Forever, or the In? All of those brands will be here and more.
We have a large selection of LRG and Aku,
Black Pyramid, the Latif Gray, the Hustle Gang, and as always, we carry a large selection of New Era caps.
So come see us at the Clothes Connection, located at 3360 Buena Vista Road, or call 706-984-8575.
It started with a few smaller bills. $50 here, $80, $100. I had good health insurance.
Why isn't this covered?
Well, then they started getting bigger. $800.
$1,800.
I saved for this.
But not that much.
I'm glad I had Aflac.
They gave me money when I needed it most.
That's why Aflac is here, to help with the expenses health insurance doesn't cover.
I love that Aflac duck.
Aflac! Get to know us at aflac.com.
In Japan, they have something called Kobe beef. That's how we do it at Luke's Pub. 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 Y'all come out and see us.
Headquarter Nissan has the same used cars as our competitors for much less, and with a lifetime warranty.
Their 2018 Ford Fusion, 17.7. Ours, 16.9. That's over $750 less.
Plus a lifetime warranty.
Their 2017 Altima, 15.9. Ours, 15.4.
plus a lifetime warranty. Compare and see for yourself. Don't pay more for less, pay less for more. A lot more. Headquarter Nissan.
We want to thank Neil Richardson from the Safe House Ministries. Obviously, we're looking forward to the event. We're going over, Dale. Of course, on behalf of Feed the Crow Foundation, Isaiah's going to feed over 200 folks over there, man. The needy, obviously, homeless folks. Man, he's going to have, turkey dressing, ham, all kind of vegetables, sweet potato pie.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it myself.
I'm looking forward to it too, DJ. And anytime that you can help the underserved and get them back on their feet, man, really it brings joy to my heart for them to be able to do that. And Isaiah still, the way he's been raised, continue to do it.
You got Tanner Glissen's number there. We're going to go ahead and get him on here in a little bit, Dale. But in the meantime, we want to let everybody know that next week, hey, I know everybody's going to be shutting it down, Dale, but, we're going to have sports in addition to, obviously, everybody's looking forward to the playoffs coming up in the end of the season. High school basketball is here. And, of course, George Williams has done this for many, many years. He has the Columbus Classic Shootout, and it'll be at George Washington Carver Tigers Gymnasium on Tuesday, Dale. He's got teams coming in from everywhere. Russell County, Campbell, Shaw going to be playing Valdosta. You got Dutchtown and Monroe out of Albany. Hardaway going against Langston Hughes. BTW, Booker T. Washington going against East Coweta. And Central and Kendrick. So, again, we'll have an opportunity. We're going to go over and help out our main man, George Williams. I know you have a couple of games that you're going to be calling.
That's right.
And I'm going to be calling a few on the latter side of that. So, looking forward to some high school basketball. It's already here, man.
Already here, DJ. It is November, and basketball season is starting. And really, George does a great job. When you can bring in 12 teams from around this whole area, that's big, man.
Absolutely. And without further ado, we got a huge game going on at Connect Stadium at 1 o'clock. And Troop is going to come in town to take on the Carver Tigers. And the winner will take the Region 2 4A championship, of course, or the title. Pleased to have with us the head coach of Troop, Tanner Glisten. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, guys. DJ, Dale, y'all doing good?
We're good, man. How you doing?
Hey, we're running on fumes at the moment, but we're doing all right. We played Saturday when we played the Grange, and then played Jordan on Tuesday night, and we just finished practice, get ready to play again Saturday. So I don't know that that's ever been done. 3 games in 1 week or 7, 8 days, but we're trying to embrace it the best we can, and but we're just excited to be playing football.
We were talking to Rex Castillo from WRBL, and he was made mention to you guys playing. It'll be 3 games in less than a week, man.
7 days.
How in the world? I mean, Coach, is that that's almost inhumane? But you know what? You got young kids. That's the difference between young kids who are young and don't understand. Go ahead.
Right, and I tell you that. I mean, even with the young guys, they're tired. It was we had. I guess yesterday, my days are all mixed up, but yesterday, I guess was Wednesday, the day after the game, and the kids were here, and it was kind of like it was math class.
Wow.
And so it was, everybody was quiet, everybody was walking around during the water breaks, everybody was sitting down, with their head down, and nobody talking. But there's a reason that you only play, 1 football game in a week. But with the coronavirus and the unfortunate death that they had over at LaGrange, we were supposed to play that game on Friday, and it got moved to Saturday. And so things have just kind of been packed on top of us.
Well, anything, I can say this about you, Tanner Glisten. You have the energy, and I'm sure you're going to have these guys fired up, ready to play. I know you played 3 games in 7 days, but I've also watched your energy. I want you to talk to me about that nice indoor facility that you have, because I believe you got an executive suite over there that you've been spending the night in this week.
It's pretty nice, Dale. It is. I'm walking around right now in here as I talk to y'all, and this time of the year, with the sun going down so much earlier, get dark at 5:30, 5:45. We don't have lights on our practice field, so it's really, really nice, and we're very appreciative of it. We can get a lot of stuff done, and that energy. I'm starting to get a little bit older now, and so that I'm having to draw back on some of that energy. And but like I said, we're just excited. I was a big advocate on playing this season for these kids, not just our kids, but the kids in general across the state of Georgia. And so we're not going to complain about how many we have to play. We're just going to go play.
Coach Glisten is on the line with us. He's the head coach at Troop. They have a huge game on Saturday at 1 o'clock up at Connect Stadium. Coach, I know you've seen the Carver Tigers on film and watched them play, and you've seen how they've scored in excess of almost 50 points in every game from week 1. What's going to be key for the for you and your team to go out and give the Tigers the kind of game that they hadn't had? Because again, they hadn't had a whole lot of people to give them much trouble. Just ran up into a little situation against Hardaway. But what is it going to take to go ahead and really go at these Tigers the way you want to go after?
Who, DJ? I just don't know. They are extremely good. You know, I think my biggest deal was last year I watched them play Marist. And when I watched that football game and coming away from that game thinking Carver could have beat Marist and the respect that I have for Marist, I was like, good grief, they're for real. And then I was hoping they were going to take a step back this year, but we'd watched them several times and they just reloaded. And they're extremely good. I put out a tweet that I thought was kind of funny, just about, you know, has anybody ever won 3 games in 1 week? And I was just making reference to us playing those games, but then guys were hitting me up about, you know, making predictions for this game. Look, there's no doubt about it. We're the underdog in this game. I mean, they are really, really good. Us and LaGrange, you know, we're pretty equivalent to each other probably. You know, we played a really good football game, 14-7. This year, us and LaGrange are probably very similar, and Carver didn't have much trouble with LaGrange. There was a couple of turnovers that kept it close early, but this group is fantastic. And you know what? They are coached extremely well. You watch them on film and the things they do defensively, scheme-wise. They're in their run fits. They're using the correct shoulders, and then they have a really great scheme offensively. Coach has done a really good job of fitting the scheme to the personnel. They have really big linemen that they can get in and zone behind those guys. And the quarterback, he's the straw that stirs the drink. He's as good as anybody we've played, and it's going to be a tall task. There's no doubt.
You know, Coach, you know, you had the opportunity to talk to me a couple of weeks ago, and you almost brag about your quarterback. I want you to talk to me about your quarterback and your defensive line of your team.
Well, our quarterback is not quite as polished as Carver's. Ours is, he's 14 years old. I think he just turned 15, so he's a freshman. His dad, Brandon Todd, played quarterback here. Just a great family, a super family, and we had a quarterback battle all summer long. We had a kid that was also a freshman that was battling for that job, and then we had Tyson Duncan, our returning junior guy, and they competed all summer long, and we just felt like Teo was our guy, and so he went over to the locker room. He is a quiet leader. He leads by example. He is very, very tough. He power cleans around 250, and that's something for a freshman. I mean, he's just naturally strong. He's very explosive. And that, like I said, he's not quite as polished. I'll give you some statistics here. The first 3 games that we lost coming out the gate with Harris County, Callaway, and Hardaway, we turned the ball over 12 times. And since that time on this 6-game winning streak, we have only turned it over twice. And while he was on the field, we only turned it over once. So obviously he's taking care of the ball more. We thought we knew what we had with him, but with no summer practice, no spring game, I should say, no spring game, and no summer like OTAs and 7-on-7s and scrimmages, it took us a little while to figure out exactly what his strengths were. And now I feel like we're kind of more along the lines of what he can do.
Tanner Glisten is the head coach of the Troop Tigers. And again, it'll be the Battle of the Tigers. And Coach, you know, this 1 o'clock kick, I know you guys are creatures of habit for the most part. But you know, this is an early start, man. This is like 5-6 hours before you've played most of your games, man. How is it going to be different getting these guys up and acclimated to play a 1 o'clock game?
You know, I mean, with celebrities like you guys, you know, y'all are used to playing, or back in the day, you know, playing at all times. But you know, we're just used to playing at 7:30 at night, and so that the LaGrange game we played at 6 on that Saturday night, which was kind of different for us. And then when we came down to Jordan on Tuesday, it was at 6:30, and now at 1 o'clock. So it's definitely going to be a little different, you know. And we've tried to pull back on some things. We have all our guys in first period weight training that starts at 7:45 every morning. So we try to let them sleep in a little bit the last couple of days. So I imagine it will be a little different. I'm just kind of worried that eventually it catches up to you, because not only, I mean, we're putting a lot of stock into this Carver game, but regardless of that, we're in the playoffs. And so we're going to go play next Friday, either at home or we're going to have to travel down to Savannah. So you start figuring, hypothetically, if you have to travel to Savannah, you know, and all these games start catching up to you and your legs and it's just, it's a weird time, and we're just trying to take care of these guys the best we can.
You know, that's what I want to bring up this point about conditioning. And, you know, really some of the things when you got to play 3 games in 7 days, you can't do it physically. You got to almost do it virtually, and you got to do a lot of mental preparation, getting the guys ready to play. And I know even in the midst of being and even playing college football, some games you can't do physical stuff on the field because the time, you know, you got to, in a bowl game, you don't have time to do that. But at the same time, what have you done to kind of calm these guys down and just re-energize these guys to make sure they're not flat on Saturday morning?
Well, and you make a good point on that. You know, after the Saturday LaGrange game, we came back in on Sunday just to feed them and hydrate them and ice bath them and stretch them and get therapy. We have a trainer here that does a really good job. We did the same thing on Wednesday. Wednesday, when we brought them in, we just went in helmets only. Today, we went in shells. You know, and so the physical part of it, I feel like we're in an okay place. You know, when you talk about the mental aspect of it, though, think about putting in 3 different game plans in 7 days.
Wow.
You know, just a mental, okay, you're keying this week, you're keying this tomorrow, you're keying this. You know, those things, you know, and our guys have done a great job of studying, trying to stay mentally fresh. I'm just as worried about the mental fatigue as I am the physical fatigue. And even, you know, people will say, well, you know, you go down to Jordan and you're the favorite, and maybe you can get a running clock or whatever. And say, yeah, but you still have to go through the pregame routine. You have to go through the getting on the bus. You got to go through the film sessions. You got to, because, you know, you don't treat any game any different because any kids start realizing this is not important or that's not important. And so, you know, trying to keep the routine, but it's been tough. But like I said, the guys, this group that we have, I'm just so proud of them.
Coach Glisten, again, we're up against the clock, but take a few minutes here to talk about some of the showstoppers, some of the game changers on offense and defense that we're going to be looking forward to seeing on Saturday.
I think DJ, that starts with our defensive line, and our defensive line has really come on pretty good. Jordan Adams is really our best dog up front. I mean, he is really tough. You know, he's probably about 6'1", about 255 pounds, but he's very athletic. We have a freshman up there named Quay Birdsong, who's probably the next Key McCooter to come out of here. He's been offered by Georgia Tech and some of those guys. He's a freshman as well. We're starting 4 freshmen right now.
Wow.
On the offensive line, Will Cooley, our center, has played more football than anybody. Our left tackle is Royce White. He's committed and be signing with Memphis in the early signing period. And so he's a really good player. So across the fronts, we're pretty solid. You know, there was a time, skill-wise, like we went through some quarantine, and our whole wide receiver group was quarantined, including the wide receiver coach. So that caused a cancellation of this game the first time around. And but now we're kind of getting everybody back to healthy. But our fronts are pretty good, pretty solid.
Coach, it's no secret that you guys had gone through the COVID crisis and had a few kids that were affected. Can you explain to the folks out there that have no idea? Obviously, you know, we hear about it on the news every day, but just being the head coach of a team that has been victimized by this deadly disease or whatever you want to call it. How did you welcome everybody back? I mean, I know there were some kids that confused, that didn't know what was going on, but how was the calming voice to these kids? What did you emphasize?
Well, to be honest with you, it's really heartbreaking. For instance, we had one kid that actually had the virus, was out 14 days, went to the doctor, got a negative test, and was sent to come back the next day, and his sister got it, and they wouldn't let him come back because his sister had it, and they were worried that he could still be contagious. So he went out 28 days, and he was a starter. So those things are just emotionally hard for kids. And so those things are tough. You know, the week we were getting ready to play Carver the first time, we had 14 people out, including 3 in addition to, we had 3 coaches, so 17 total people. You just start worrying about your depth and what's going on. And a lot of it, too, is, you know, it might not even be your kid. It might be one of your players, but he's in a class with a person that tested positive, so they're going to quarantine, you know, half the classroom. And so those things start really running a course. But it's really a mental thing, because I think the biggest thing, to sum it up, is really tough for me when the kids do everything we ask them to do and they still have to go quarantine. You know what I mean? The kids wear masks, washing their hands, or social distancing, and the kids sitting beside them in class gets it. and then you got to quarantine these guys. And that's really, really tough. And I understand it. I get it because we're trying to protect people. But it's really hard. And we just, we try to leave it in the Lord's hands and talk about adversity and keep them positive.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you, man, spending time to sharing with the community. Of course, you're getting ready for the big game against Carver on Saturday up at Cadet Stadium, man. We're going to be there watching, and we hope that you and your team bring your A game, man.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate everything y'all do, and look forward to seeing y'all.
Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Tanner Glisten. You're listening to WRCG 92.1, and you're watching CTV Beam as well as Facebook. Hey, come on in, share us, like us. You got to understand that we do this because we love it. Hey, we'll be right back. This is the Sports Visions Radio Show.